Hi, I'm here with Benjamin Kasden at the AIA Conference in Las Vegas. Benjamin is an associate principal and design leader at KTGY Architecture and Planning. He also serves as the president of AIA California. He is a frequent speaker and contributor of articles and blog posts about the value of design, mentorship, advocacy, sustainable architecture, student housing, mixed use, and multifamily housing. Hi, Benjamin.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. No problem. Did I mention? Yeah, the president of AI. Okay. So, what are your first recollections of experiencing architecture?
So my parents realized that I wanted to be an architect when I was pretty young, and so they were nice enough to give me opportunity to see architecture. So I think my earliest recollection was on a trip to the Bay Area. So we went to San Francisco and saw, the typical tourist sites, and we drove to see the Redwood Forest. We also went to see the Marin County Civic Center by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen a building like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even today, it's still pretty different.
Yeah.
And that made quite an impression on me. I think I was maybe 8 years old or so at the time. Mm-hmm. So, the idea that there could be a building that affected my emotions, that was the first time I ever felt that. And I've sort of been on a quest to find that feeling again with my own work and travels and all those other things.
Yeah. And how old were you?
I think 8 or so.
8. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, what are 3 classic buildings that you like and why?
So I'm going to take a different approach on classic, or maybe I don't know. I looked at some of the other people's answers to these questions, and they went to like antiquity, like the Pantheon shows up.
Some of the people do, but a lot of them, they're very modern pieces. So they're whatever you feel is. When I say classic, like buildings that people would know, right?
Okay.
So
a couple of my favorite buildings. Mm-hmm. One is the St. Ignatius Chapel by Stephen Hall in Seattle. It sort of, that was built right when I started architecture school. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like an architect's architecture. Every piece of that thing is amazing, and I love. I can probably say everything about it. Like there's very little that I do not love in that building. It's cool that it's just a tilt-up building, with air quotes that you can totally see on a podcast. And
I post pictures of all of it. Yeah.
And the way that the light is crafted and the spaces are crafted, and it's so tactile. And the first time I ever went to visit, my wife is from the Seattle area. Mm-hmm. I didn't notice just how tactile the materials are. You sort of lose that layer of detail in the photos.
Yeah.
But you sort of emote from being in the spaces of that little building, similar to what I experienced as a kid at the Frank Lloyd Wright building. I just love that building.
Evoking emotion in a space.
So powerful, right?
Yes.
And then another one is the Seattle Public Library. It's 2 Seattle buildings by OMA, and what I like about that is just the purity of the idea. I know that they had tried that spiral ramp library idea on the Paris library that they didn't win, and so this was when they kind of turned this like really simple idea into reality. So I like the elegance of that.
Yes.
But I also just like the way that this really wacky building totally fits into a very regulated grid of the city, and it was almost instantly a part of the fabric of that city, and it was accepted. And so it's just it's sort of a lovable program in and of itself. I sort of contrast it with when the Experience Music Project was built in Seattle, and that did not get readily accepted. I always kind of like that building because it's wacky. It's not my favorite, but I do like it. But when that library was built, and it sort of embraced the community, and like, who doesn't love a library?
Yeah,
So
yes, who doesn't love a library?
Lovable.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't everybody want to do a library project?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think everybody wants to do a library project. Yeah, or a museum. Right?
Who does it? I mean, both of those both those buildings are very unique, but there's something about I think it's the way that the library is part of the city, where like EMP was separate, and yeah, it relates to the context of the amusement park, but and the Space Needle, but the library is just like in the city. Anyway.
Yeah.
So my third one is really just a space. So in my travels to DC with some regularity, my favorite space in DC, I've written about a couple times, is the courtyard space at the National Gallery.
Yes.
The Foster kind of glass ceiling
Yeah.
piece. And it's funny because I like that space partly because of the experiences that I had there. I've spent many cold days warming in that space, very many hot days cooling off in that space. And it's just super pleasant. It's like a oasis in that city.
I think it is. I mean, I've been in that space, and I really enjoy it. And then when I talk, I always forget like which one it is, and people are like, "Oh, there's a bunch like that," and I'm like, "No, I don't think there is."
Not quite.
Yeah, exactly.
There are courtyards, but
yeah,
I don't know, the juxtaposition of the old versus the new. It's like masonry, like old school masonry, like big rocks, and then to super techno roof thing with the curves in multiple directions. And that juxtaposition is fun.
Yeah.
And how those things kind of collide.
Yes, and not totally overwhelming and overtaking the space, but working with the space, and it's almost subliminal in its way, in its way that it's
they complement
done that.
each other.
Yes. Exactly.
Like the low tech versus the high tech. Heavy versus light. The opaque versus transparent. All those things are happening in a kind of high level.
Yeah. So, what do you like about being an architect?
It's fun sometimes. No, I mean, the creative part is why we all become architects, I think. We literally are making the world a better place. And that idea is very seductive or exciting. And, I play music too, and the creative outlet of architecture is very enjoyable. It's fun to collaborate with people and to work with other designers on my studio, and we take one of our ideas and we make it better, and it's like more than just the adding of the two. We sort of exponentially grow the concept into something that better than what either or all of us could have thought of independently.
It becomes a composition, right? A musical composition or something.
It totally
as it
feels
does.
like playing music in a group.
Yeah. So
That's really fun.
What instrument do you play?
I play bass guitar.
You do?
Yeah. I played more instruments as a kid, but the only one I keep playing is bass guitar.
Oh, what did you play as a kid?
My first instrument was clarinet.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was in lots of bands as a child.
Yeah, I played flute. I think a lot of people that are architects have played some musical instrument.
I found that too. There's a lot of overlap, and when you talk about architecture or music, you could sort of be talking about the same thing. You can switch out the subject matter, but you can talk about it in the same way.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good thing, even though if it, I didn't pursue it after 8th grade, just because I didn't feel very committed in it, and I think that probably, with a lot of us with architects, right, we want to do something, it's like you don't want to just do something, half-ass. Sometimes you want to commit to it
all the way.
Even though, So then I was like, no, I just want to really pursue architecture or the arts. Actually, I was pursuing more of like art school and things. So, what would you like to say about the future of architecture?
I think the future of architecture is resilience, and both the literal and the figurative meaning. So literally, just the effects of climate change need to be addressed immediately, and there was a resolution that was passed yesterday. All those things, that is a very real part of our immediate future. But then also, more figuratively, I think our profession needs to become more nimble and more inclusive of other types of services other than just buildings, and other types of people and careers. And I think we need to figure out a way to get more students into architecture school, because I'm looking at the numbers and it's not going up, and we literally need more architecture students to exist as a profession. So I think a lot of that is just the barrier to architecture school entry. I mean, barrier to college entry is a problem from a financial standpoint, but architecture is a particularly expensive major. I mean, you either need 5 or 6 or more years of college. That's too expensive. As a father of a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, that terrifies me. But we need to help find ways to get more people with more diverse backgrounds and perspectives into the profession, to keep it fresh, keep it new. And so that includes kind of widening our definition of practice.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I can remember I was a summer intensive orientation program at Cal Poly Pomona, and I was one of the counselors, for a week. And so we had different students from the area that were going to, high school, and they could, they could really pursue any career that they wanted to. But, we were going to show them different careers that were in the College of Environmental Design. And so, for that week, they got to know about architecture, landscape architecture, and urban and regional planning. We kind of, but one of the questions that they asked, at the end was like, well, why should we pursue architecture over like dentistry or something? We're in school for this many years, right? And how much money am I going to make at the end?
It's not an easy answer.
Especially, I mean, this is coming from like a kid that's like in 9th or 10th grade from, an economically disadvantaged area. And, he's thinking about that in 9th or 10th grade. What is going to be my payback?
It's a good question.
Yeah. And, for me, what was I, like 19 or 20? I mean, the only real answer that I could give him at that point was like, well, it has to be something that you're passionate about, But, then you also have to have the resources in order to back up that passion.
You have to know that it exists, too.
And you have to know about,
I mean, I have said before that architecture chose me more than I chose it. But, my parents realized that interest in me as a small child. I think I was 7 when I decided I wanted to be an architect. And I was right.
Here, we're going to show you how you become an architect.
But
right?
My dad,
show you the resources.
He's a civil engineer. His dad was an aeronautical engineer, and they knew some ways to expose me to architecture. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have known that architecture was calling me necessarily as a 7-year-old. Yeah, I mean, the same thing, like there was engineering in background of our family, and then also for construction, and then also, right, my mom said, I maybe would have pursued architecture, but in her generation, right, if you were a smart woman, you went to college to become a nurse or a teacher. Yeah. Those were the career options. It's crazy to imagine that kind of world. And that wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't, because my mother's only 19 years older than me, and so I'm thinking, okay, so this summer intensive orientation program, I mean, this was in 1985. It's like, really, the profession hasn't changed that much, in that maybe there's more women in the profession, but then even statistics from the Equity by Design is that they're not becoming licensed. So
we need more advocates at kind of all levels, but in particular that K-12 range, so that
Yes.
you can show people, and those people that can't imagine women being architects. A lot of them are probably still guidance counselors at high schools. I know mine was like that. Didn't understand anything about architecture. I was teaching her about architecture, and I don't know how I knew. I guess my parents, but I was fortunate.
Yeah. So what was the resolution yesterday?
So there's a resolution from the floor coming out of the National Code Committee, sponsored by, written by a bunch of our California architects. Basically to make action on climate change and global warming an immediate priority for the SU.
Okay. So we're doing like an architecture climate action plan then.
Yeah, and that was sort of already in the works too, apparently, with the national board, and they've been calling it the big idea.
Okay.
And this just brings more urgency to that topic.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. Great wrap up about the future of architecture. Thank you very much, Ben, and hope to do more great things at the conference. And I'll see you around.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks.